Everyone, so it's time for another creepy scary video, and for tonight's creepy video I'm going to be talking about some paranormal experiences that I've had really recently. And I know I just made one of these videos not too long ago, like it was literally like a couple weeks ago I made a video on my recent paranormal experiences, but literally this just happened in like these past couple of months and this past week, so it really hasn't been that long ago that all this stuff has happened, and it involves my cat who just recently passed away. So I figured I would make a video on this subject. I thought it would be really interesting. So first things first, I had been having just a really bad feeling that something was going to happen to one of my cats. I had a really off feeling with Booger for a long time because she was losing weight, and I could tell she was losing weight, and she just seemed like there was something that was off with her. Something wasn't right. She kept using the bathroom. She peed a lot, like obsessively peed, and drank like a shit ton of water every day. Like she stayed thirsty. And I just knew that something was up. So we took her to one vet, and you know, they told us, well, everything's fine, she just has a urinary tract infection. Prescribed us medicine for her urinary tract infection. We gave it to her, and you know, it was still happening. It was still going on. She was still losing weight. You don't really know if an animal is sick or not because, you know, they're an animal. They can't talk to you. They can't tell you if there's something wrong with them, if they're sick. So, I mean, there was no way to really tell for sure other than going to the vet. And the vet had told us that it was just a urinary tract infection. So my parents thought that everything was okay, but I kind of knew that something was off. Like, I just kind of got this vibe that something was going to happen to one of my cats, and that you know, something was just wrong with her. And by the way, my cat's name is Booger. She's the one that I just posted this recent slideshow of. She's the one that just passed away this past week. Back in January this year, it was New Year's Eve, it was on New Year's Eve day, my dad gave me a tarot card reading. And my dad is big into the tarot cards and stuff. He's gave me a few readings before, and I know that some people are very skeptical when it comes to them, but I myself personally do believe in them, and most of the stuff that my dad has told me on these readings has come true. At some point or another, it has come true in some way, shape, or form. And I got the death card, which, first things first, like, immediately whenever I see that card, I just get scared. Like, death scares me. I've mentioned that in a few videos before. Death has always freaked me out, especially when it comes to a loved one or someone that I'm close to. Like, that scares me. He immediately told me, you know, that I was going to maybe have a loved one that was going to pass away, you know, a friend, a family member. He couldn't tell me who, but he knew that I was going to possibly have a death, and it was going to be very soon. So that freaked me out. That was the first time I had ever gotten a card like that before. And I would like to mention that I had a cat that passed away about 3 or 4 years ago. Her name was Midnight, and she was an all-black cat. And I have talked about her a few times in my videos, but she passed away due to a tumor on her lungs that we did not know about. That's what she passed away of, but she passed away around the same time, around in April. It was in April, it was this month. Actually, her death date is getting ready to come up in these next couple of weeks. But she passed away on a Friday. Booger and Midnight were both very close to each other. Like, I feel like they had like a really close animal bond with each other. Like, when Midnight passed away, Booger kind of grieved Midnight's death. And Midnight used to sleep on my bed all the time. Like, she was always in my room on my bed. And after she passed away, Booger would stay in my room on my bed, just like sitting there. And you could tell in her eyes that she was sad, that she was depressed, that she had lost her best friend. So this past week, it seemed like it progressed, and it was getting worse and worse with Booger. Like, we could tell that she was getting sicker and sicker, and we knew something was up because she was barely eating. Like, she wasn't eating at all. She was constantly drinking water. She wasn't going to the bathroom at all. And all she was doing was laying around and sleeping. And like, you could tell in her eyes that she was sick. She would not open up her eyes at all. And that was all in this past week. So on Monday, before it started getting real bad, I was sitting in my room and I was laying down on my bed And this really has nothing to do with the story, but I just wanted to include it in this video because it was so special to me and it was like the last time that I heard that. But on Monday, I was sitting in my room and I was just thinking, you know, have you ever just sat in your room or something and you just thought, like you didn't do anything else, you just sat there and thought about stuff and pondered? That's kind of what I was doing, and Booger had this little like meow that she would do whenever she was in heat. And that was, you know, she would go through the hallway and she would make this really funny sound, and I'm gonna try to copy it. She was like, and it sounded like a dying dog, but it always made me laugh every single time she did that. And I was sitting in my room and I was just kind of pondering on everything for a minute, and Booger just started doing that sound that she did, and she was coming through the hallway. And I remember thinking, I love listening to her do that. It's always so funny to me. It always makes me laugh. And that was the last time that I actually heard her do that. So that's the reason why I had to throw it in this video. By Thursday, Booger was literally, like I said, she wasn't eating anything. She was constantly drinking. She wasn't going to the bathroom. All she was doing was laying around sleeping, and she would not open her eyes. Like when she did, it was like squinting her eyes. Like she barely opened her eyes. So we decided to make an appointment with another vet the next day. And this vet is a different vet from the first one that we had went to. And he is actually the vet that we took my cat Dutchie to. But we trusted this vet more than we did any other vet, because most of the other vets that we've been to, I don't want to like say this in a mean way, but they just didn't seem like they really knew what they were doing. We made an appointment for the next day to take Booger and to see what was wrong with her. All the while we were sitting there trying to stay positive about what it was, but kind of had a feeling, like I said, in the back of my head that something wasn't right. We were all sitting in the living room and Booger was laying on the floor, and my cat Cuddles, which is, she's 2, so she's really small, she's my baby, she was like scratching on the wall on this table, and she was looking up at the wall. And you know how animals are kind of more sensitive to spirits than what humans are. She was looking at something and her eyes were big and bold and her ears were perked up, and she just kept staring at it on the wall, and she was like scratching the wall and stuff. So later on, me and my mom went to bed. My dad's sitting in there and he said it was getting really late, and he looks over there next to that table, and Cuddles is no longer there, but he's seen a white orb float down kind of next to Booger, and then it shot up and went straight into the wall. That was the first experience. Then I went to bed, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night. I have asthma, so I was having a hard time catching my breath, so I took my inhaler, and I just kind of had this bad feeling, like this bad gut feeling come over me that something was going to happen to Booger, that something was going to go wrong. I eventually fell off to sleep and I tried to shake it off, and like I said, I tried to stay positive. And for such a long time, I was praying for her like every single day for months and months and months. When I realized that something was wrong, I was praying for her that it was going to be nothing bad, that she was going to pull through it. You know, the next day, we take her to the vet. So the vet's like, okay, I'm going to take her back here, we're going to do some blood work, we're going to see what's up, we're going to take a few x-rays, and I'll let you know. So we're sitting there hoping for good news. She brings Booger back into the room, and she tells us, well, she has diabetes. So we're like, oh, okay, so that explains why she was drinking a lot, that's the reason why she was peeing a lot. So we're thinking, okay, there's a cure for the diabetes. Then she's like, okay, well, she also has pymitra on top of that, which, like I said, we've experienced with 2 other cats of ours, Carla and Dutchie, which we were able to save their lives because we caught theirs in time. So if you guys don't know what pymitra is, basically it is an infection that can get in their uterus whenever they're in heat. I don't want to go into full detail because it's kind of gross, but they get like fluid that fills up inside of their uterus, and it can be fatal eventually if you don't catch it in time. So usually what they would do is they would give them a hysterectomy, get them neutered and take out their uterus, and then they would be okay. So in Booger's case, where she was so frail, where her bones were kind of sticking out, where the diabetes had really gotten her down because we didn't know anything about it, the vet had told us that there was basically nothing she could do, because if she went into the surgery with Booger, there was a possibility that Booger was not going to survive, because like all of her bone mass and everything was gone. So my heart sunk immediately when she said that, because I knew what was going to come after that. And that was like the last thing that I wanted to hear. So me and my family, me, my mom, and my dad, we just started bawling. And the vet was really nice. She gave us all tissues. Like, she was a really nice lady. And she said, well, we can make an appointment. You can come back in. You can take her home, love on her a little bit, because she's actually my sister's cat. And when my sister moved out, she didn't get to take her with her, so she stayed here. So I was like, maybe we need to let my sister see her first, because, you know, that was her cat, and I feel like she'd want to say goodbye to her before. The vet was like, okay, you can take her back home, you can give her a little lovin's, and then you can bring her back in, and we can, you know, put her to sleep. We took her back home. That entire day, like, we were all crying. It was very, very hard, as you can imagine. If you've lost an animal before, you know how hard it can be. Had her since I was like 11. I got her right around the same time that I got my cat Dutchie, and Dutchie's like my entire world. So her and Dutchie were the same age, so it was tough. We're looking at urns because we got my other cat cremated, and we wanted to get her as well cremated. And we were looking at cat urns. And, you know, they have the little rainbow bridge thing. They had an urn that had a rainbow on it, which was really cute. But, like, that entire day before we had took her to have her put to sleep, we kept seeing stuff with rainbows. Like, my cousin had mentioned something about a rainbow. I think that I seen something online about a rainbow. Like, we just kept seeing rainbows everywhere. And I kept praying to God, you know, give me some sort of sign that she's made it up there to heaven, that she's okay. So my dad takes her in, and me, my sister, and my mom stayed home because we didn't want to, like, be there to witness that. So my dad took her. My mom was like, watch, he'll see a rainbow. It was raining that day and the sun was shining. My mom was like, watch, he's going to see a rainbow. He's going to be the one that's going to see the sign. And my dad came back home a few hours later, and he's like, while I was waiting, I was in the waiting room, waiting to have her put to sleep, the Somewhere Over the Rainbow song came on, which is the song that I used in the slideshow. And that could have just been a coincidence, because I do believe that they have a little waiting room there because, like, for whenever people are having their pets put to sleep, like, they want, like, a little room to, like, comfort them. So I believe that they had the music playing on purpose, but I still believe that that was like a sign from God that, you know, she was going to be okay. After my parents had went off to work that day and my sister had left, I was home alone, and I was listening to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I just started crying. Like, I was sitting on the floor and I was just crying. You know, I was just having a really hard time, and I was crying, and out of the corner of my eye, right in front of me, I swore, like, I swear, I would not make any of this stuff up, I seen Booger's face right in front of me. And it was out of the corner of my eye, and whenever I looked, it was gone. It vanished. So that was the second experience. I believe it was Sunday, the Sunday after that, because Booger had also passed away on a Friday, which was weird because, like I said, Midnight passed away around the same time. She passed away in April, her passed away on a Friday, Booger passed away on a Friday, and she passed away on March 31st. So it was almost April when she passed away. But the Sunday following that Friday, I was home alone. My parents were at work. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth. I had the door open. Out of the corner of my eye, I seen something move. And I kind of glanced over. I don't glance over fully, like with my full vision, my full front vision. I just kind of glanced over a little bit out of the corner of my eye. And again, I seen Booger. And like before she had passed, like I said, the diabetes had took all of her bone mass. When we first got her, she was fat. Like, she was chubby. She had like these big sides and everything. And like before she passed away, it was all gone. So when I had seen her out of the corner of my eye, she had like her belly back and everything, like her sides were all puffed out. She looked healthy and she had a big smile on her face, and she was walking into my room because I had my door open. It was like so peaceful for me. So that was the third experience that we had with Booger, and most of this happened last week and the beginning of this week. Monday, we get a call from the funeral home of them telling us that it's time to come pick up her ashes. So right before we left, I look on Facebook. I'm always looking on Facebook on my iPod whenever I first wake up. Like, I looked at my memories on Facebook on this day, and I seen this quote that I had posted a year ago, and everybody wants happiness, nobody wants pain, but you can't have a rainbow without a little rain. And I was like, again, the rainbow. It's the same day that we're going to pick up her ashes. Like, either this is a coincidence or this is a sign. We went to go pick up her ashes. We brought her back home. You know. Later that night, after my parents had went off to work, I was sitting in the living room, and I kind of like glanced over because I was sitting on the floor with one of my other cats, and out of the corner of my eye, once again, in front of that table where my dad had seen that white light, I seen Booger's face sitting right in front of the table, and then when I looked, it was gone. So again, I seen her face. My sister had actually came up that day that we had went and picked her ashes up, and she had told my parents, and I didn't know this until later, she had actually thought that she seen Booger's face, and it was out of the corner of her eye, and it was in the corner of her ceiling, and she looked up and she seen Booger's face, and when she looked fully, you know, it vanished, it was gone. So I was like, that's kind of weird because that's like the same exact thing that I've been seeing. Then my parents came home from work. When they came home from work, we were like sitting there talking about, you know, Booger, and reminiscing on memories pretty much of her and just talking about her. And my cat Carla, who was also really close to Booger, like whenever we first got my cats Carla and Ella, they were kittens, and we had Booger at the time, and Booger kind of took them in as like her own, like she treated them as if they were her kittens, like she had them. So Carla and Booger were both very close. But my cat Carla, like we're sitting there on the couch talking about Booger, and my cat Carla just starts staring at something over my shoulder on the couch. Her eyes are really wide, her ears are perked up just like Cuddles did, and it's right behind me. And she's staring at whatever this is for a good like 10 to 20 minutes at least. Like she was staring at it for a really long time. So we kind of took that as a sign. Then my mom went to bed, she turned out half the lights, like Carla's sitting there on the floor. And we do have laser pointers, but we were not playing with a laser pointer at this time because me and my dad were the only two who were awake. My mom was asleep, and my dad said that out of the corner of his eye he seen like a little red dot behind Carla. So I was like, I'm gonna look that up. So I looked up what the meaning of red orbs means, and there were like several different definitions for it, but if you want to go with like the ghostly meaning of an orb, then it meant like someone in life that had been there in life but is kind of like looking over someone else, kind of like protecting them. So I was like, okay, that's just weird because Booger totally like took up for Carla and Ella as like they were her kittens. To me, that was kind of like a sign that Booger was like looking over her and watching over her. And then like several minutes later, my dad sees that white orb again next to that table, and it shoots right into the wall once again. So there was that. My dad believed the first time that he seen that white light that was midnight, and to say like, here, I'm coming for you, like it's your turn, it's your time to go. So that could have been what that was. We don't know for sure. Obviously nobody really knows for sure what they are, but that's what we believe. So it's getting pretty late at this point. Like it was around like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like we are night owls. We stay up pretty late sometimes talking. And we're sitting there talking about all this paranormal stuff that had been going on since Booger had passed. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, this freaking thunder just booms really, really loud. And it's like right as we're sitting there talking about Booger and all this paranormal stuff that had been going on. And whether that is paranormal related or not, it was just weird how it happened at that one point in time. And like it had been rainy all that Monday like during the day, but I don't believe that it was raining at this point in time, like at this very second that we were talking. According to my dad, it did not thunder at all after that. Like, it was just that one time and that was it. So that was pretty strange to me, because I believe that the next day it was actually really pretty and nice outside. Like, the sun was shining and everything. Like, it was a perfect day outside. So like, there was no reason for it to thunder, and we don't know if that was related to this or not. But like I said, it was just weird how it happened at that exact moment. And I'd like to also point out that ever since Booger passed away, this is actually kind of sad, Booger had this like giant Easter basket thing that she would sleep in, and it was kind of like her bed. Carla, since Booger has been gone, she's been like sleeping in that basket, I guess kind of because like she misses Booger. And I feel like they can tell, like I feel like they can sense when another animal that's been there for so long is gone, because she was there like from the moment that they came into our home to the moment that she passed. Like, she was there pretty much their entire half their life. So I believe that Carla knows, and I do believe that that could have been Booger maybe watching over her, because Carla seems like she misses her. My best friend Tiffany, she had been off work because she was moving in with her friend at this time, so she took a day off, and when she came back into work the next day, she was working, and she works at Goodwill, by the way. She was like sitting there going through stuff, and you know how the radio, like they usually have like a span of 5 songs that they play over and over again on the radio. So on this particular day, she had actually heard a song. It was the Titanic song, which is My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. That song came on the radio out of nowhere. So she kind of got like a little weird vibe from that. Like, she kind of thought, okay, that's kind of weird. And she said that her animal shelter was doing something to like try and get like these animals or something a home or something like that. So she didn't know if that's what, you know, the reason why they were playing it, but she said that she kind of took it as a sign. So immediately after this song goes off, In the Arms of the Angel, you guys know that song, like from that really sad ASPCA commercial, that song, she heard that song directly after My Heart Will Go On. She's sitting there going through the stuff, you know, doing her job, and she keeps finding like cat related stuff, cat books, cat everything. And she's like, this is just weird. Like, she knew that something was up. She goes home, and another friend tells her that they have to put their dog to sleep, which is what we had just done with Booger. So she kind of took that as like a paranormal experience, as a sign from Booger that she was still there. Those were all of the paranormal experiences that I've had since Booger has passed away. And as I said, that all happened last week and the beginning of this week. It has not been that long that all this stuff has happened, and I seriously believe that all of those things were signs from her letting us know that she was okay, that she was no longer suffering, you know, that she had made it, and that she was still here with us in some way. And I truly do believe that. And I know a lot of people are going to watch this video and they're going to be like, well, it was just a cat, you know, like, how can a cat have a spirit? How can a cat do this? How can a cat do that? Unless you've lived with them for that long, I don't feel like anybody really has the right to say anything, because, like, unless you've been around them for as long as I have, I've been around cats my entire life, pretty much. And I noticed Booger, and I know their characteristics, and I know their personality. It's just like a dog. Like, you know, they have their own personality after a while. You have an animal, then you know. You know, I truly believe, like, if you look into their eyes long enough, you can tell that there's something behind them. You can tell that they have a soul. You can tell that something's there making them tick. I know some people believe differently. That's fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but my personal belief is that animals do have spirits, not like insects or anything like that, but you know, like cats and dogs, I believe that they do have spirits. I believe that what I seen was Booger. I can't like verify it 100%, but I truly believe in my heart that what I saw those 3 times was Booger. So, you know, I wasn't scared. of her, I felt at peace. And it happened all so sudden, so like I was already used to her like walking around our house and like being there every single morning when I woke up. So when she passed, it was really hard, and like I'm still trying to cope with it. I'm still trying to like get on with my life in spite of like the pain that I'm feeling deep down. But I guess that I'm doing okay because I know in my heart that she's alright, and that she's up there with Midnight, and that they're both kind of like watching down on us, and that, you know, she's still in this home. I do believe that she's still in this home. You know, I'm not scared of her at all. She was like my family. She was like a daughter. Like, I know that sounds funny because it was a cat, but I consider my cats like my kids, because like I feel like a mom. Like
I take care of them. I clean out their poop. Like, I feed them. I have to make sure that they're well taken care of. Like, I feel like a mom. I feel like they're my baby.
And when Booger passed away, I felt like I lost a piece of my family that day. I believe that the tarot card was meaning Booger. Like, it could have been anything. It could have like not happened yet, but I truly believe in my heart, and my dad believes it as well, that it was Booger, because I've always been so attached to my animals, and I'm very like connected to them. I've always been a big animal lover, especially my cats. Like, my cats are so important to me. I believe that the tarot card was meaning Booger because that was like a friend to me. It was just like you would have a best friend and a dog. All of my cats are like that for me. Yeah, I know that she's okay. I'm doing alright, so I'm just trying to hang in there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big ol' thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and become a morbid maniac. Also, leave me a comment and let me know what you think of all of this paranormal experiences. I mean, you can think what you want. Like, everybody has a right to their own beliefs. But yeah, you can leave me a comment and let me know your opinion and your feelings on it. That's totally fine. As long as it's respectful and nice, that's all I ask. And have you ever had a paranormal experience with an animal that you were close to that has passed on? Please leave me a comment and let me know. And yeah, I'd also like to add before I end this video that I will update you guys if I have any more paranormal experiences related with Booger. But yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!